Health workers across New South Wales are threatening to strike unless the state government agrees to increase its pay offer to public servants. Labor has offered public sector unions a 1-year 4% pay rise plus 0.5% superannuation, but the HSU has voted to endorse industrial action unless a better offer is received by Friday. Joining me now live is the New South Wales Acting Premier Prue. Thank you very much for your time this morning. You were elected to government in March on a platform of lifting public sector pay. Have you failed already?
Well, we're in negotiation with a range of unions, including the HSU, obviously, and we've put that initial offer to them and, you know, they're advocating for their members, as we expect them to do. We're working through those issues because, as you say, you're right, we were elected on that platform and we are determined to get rid of the wages cap that the previous government had in place for more than a decade and to make sure that we value essential frontline workers like those amazing HSU members by giving them a pay rise. What they've been offered is the biggest pay rise they've been offered in a decade.
So the HSU says that industrial action will occur if an offer hasn't been brought to the table by Friday. Will you look to increase what you've already got on the table?
Well, I believe that our government is working really closely with the union on negotiating through that at the moment as we speak. The Health Minister, the Treasurer, working through those issues with, the representatives of these frontline workers. And we hope to be able to land in a position where we come to an agreed outcome.
Will the Premier return from holidays to try and resolve this standoff as soon as possible?
Yeah, I think the call for him to do that's a little bit of Matt Keane being a little bit cheeky. I mean, I don't think anyone would begrudge the Premier from having a couple of days off with his kids in school holidays. I can personally attest to the hours that he works. We're here working on this issue. The Health Minister is here, the Treasurer's here, I'm here. We'll be working through these issues as we're working through with all other public sector unions, negotiating on a way that we can ensure that we value them and we give them a pay rise in recognition as a function of our respect for them.
But you're not ruling out, though, increasing your offer that you've already got on the table?
Well, look, the Health Minister and the Treasurer are in negotiations at the moment with the HSU and with other unions, as other ministers are. Their negotiations in good faith. I think to go through them in chapter and verse would be sort of a breach of that good faith, but they're in intense negotiations at the moment. Our aim is to be able to respect essential workers, to come good on our election commitment, to pay essential workers more, to respect them, to improve their pay and conditions, because they were not valued under the previous government. It's a major reason why 103, I think, days ago, people voted for the government to change here in New South Wales.
Let's talk about energy, obviously a big one in the state at the moment. How quickly will households and businesses see relief? What's the timeline?
Well, look, we've got two calls to action today. Obviously, there's a state government scheme for energy bill relief for people that are really struggling, like people that haven't been able to pay their last bill. And look, I know I represent a lot of people who are saying every day this, that's the biggest wicket in terms of what they're concerned about. Everyone's struggling at the moment. There's a massive shortfall in people taking up that scheme. So that's going to be really important for us to make sure that people understand that if you're struggling, you can actually access this important rebate. And then from the 1st of August, there'll be other rebates rolling out. The $500 rebate to households is going to be really impactful for people that need it. And also, one of the biggest things is that we committed to at the election we're actually rolling out is the $650 rebate to 320,000 small businesses across the state, because small businesses are being absolutely smashed by this cost of living crisis in energy, and the flow-on effect that has to consumers, people paying for things at small businesses, cannot be underestimated. So that's going to be rolled out, but make sure we're pleading with people to access the support that is available there.
Energy security was a key issue during the election campaign, and for Labor it was the state-owned energy security operation. Have you made any plans to get this off the ground?
We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes, if you like, to get ready in terms of being prepared to put this up. This was a major election commitment, as you say. Our major priority in energy, I suppose, for the first 3 months has been making sure that we work through these bill relief issues. That's number one priority for us. We don't have no apologies about that. That's where people are hurting. But, you know, obviously this is an important way to ensure security and keep the lights on, and we'll be making announcements about that really soon. We've done a lot of work to prepare for this already.
Have you broken your election promise, though? Energy security was meant to be the key focus of your first 100 days in office, and this still hasn't gotten off the ground.
No, I don't accept that. We've been doing a lot of work to make it ready to happen. This is obviously a huge priority of the government, and we'll be making announcements really soon about the timeline for this new body. It's a big piece of work. We haven't had something like this in New South Wales. It's a big commitment. It's something that really made us stand apart from the previous government. So no, I don't accept that. We're doing a lot of work, and we'll have some announcements soon.
Let's talk about today's story in the Daily Telegraph that taxpayers are forking out $226,000 to teach New South Wales transport bureaucrats how to write. Why is this money being spent on that?
Yeah, well, obviously we made some pretty big commitments to crack down on a lot of waste, and, you know, the Treasurer Daniel Mookhey has made a lot of statements, including the economic statement about the difficult fiscal environment we find ourselves in, being left with such record amounts of debt. So while training is important, I believe the Acting Transport Minister has requested that this be investigated and report back, you know, because obviously we need to be very careful about every cent of taxpayers' money that we're spending. So
you do agree that this was an oversight to spend this much money on teaching people how to write?
Yeah, look, I mean, the Transport Minister will need to go away and have a look at that and report back, and ask Metro to report back, because it is a lot of money, and we want to make sure that the people of New South Wales have confidence that we're spending every cent wisely, especially when we are out there in the community saying we actually have inherited, you know, record levels of debt, the highest level of debt that any government has inherited from one to the other. So it's important to us that we use every cent wisely. The Transport Minister will get a report back from Metro very shortly.
Do you have a timeline on that?
No, I'm sure that has been asked for urgently. Very, very confident that will come back as soon as possible.
Prue, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Danica.